Yo guys, what's going on? Exemplash here and welcome back to my channel for another video. And today, as you can clearly see, we are playing the new Formula 1 2017 game, which I've been so excited for over these past few weeks on the launch up to it. I've literally been practicing on the old one for it, but today we are going to be doing career mode quite clearly. And as you can probably guess, I am going to be going with McLaren Honda. Fernando is my teammate because I absolutely adore this team. So without saying anything, I'm just going to let these cutscenes come into it.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, is a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
So that was our little intro into this McLaren Honda lifestyle. Obviously, being McLaren Honda, there's going to be one significant thing. We are going to be at the back of the pack. Obviously, new contract. If you guys want to read it, there you go. You can pause the video if you want. But yeah, basically, I've kind of picked this team. One, because I do like McLaren Honda. That they've got so much potential if they get it right, because they have the best, one of the best chassis and best downforce packages. But the engine's the only thing that lets them down. So obviously, I've gone with them because I know that won't be too much of an issue. It'll just be the engine to try and upgrade. Obviously, we got all this injection stuff because this is literally on day one release. Like, I've recorded this on the day, but I've not actually had time to do it and get it out until now. So yeah, I hope you guys can forgive me. The one thing I've been looking forward to, clearly, is the chance to actually manage our own engine and gearbox, which is something that I've personally been waiting for quite a while in F1. So yeah, as we can clearly see, nothing to do, but without any further ado, we are going to go into practice one. Just going through all this, but we're going to go into practice one right now, and yeah.
About to join the action in what is sure to be an interesting practice session here in Melbourne. It's not long until we get the session underway, and we'll have some cars appearing out on the track. Welcome then to all our viewers, and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars. It's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
Right, so here we are for the first practice session of the career mode.
In the unforgiving world of Formula 1,
I'll see all this.
Morning, Jeff
And
here.
Jeff's fast speaking and top
With
as
your race
usual.
engineer. Hope you've had a good night's sleep because we've got a lot of work to do today to prep for the season ahead. We're ready to fire up the car, so why not head out and get a few laps
That's
under
if the
your
car
belt.
actually wants to start. But yeah, looking into this, there's obviously a lot more in-depth into the practice programs now. Obviously, you got track acclimatization, tyre management, qualifying pace like we did last time. Obviously, this time now we got fuel saving and race strategy. So jumping straight into it. Obviously, I don't really want to bore you guys with too much, but going straight into practice, obviously we absolutely nailed the track acclimatization because I know these tracks so well personally, like on the games, it's just ridiculous. So I'm not even going to bother showing this too much because you guys probably seen other videos of it. Going on to the tyre wear test, as you can see, I did fail the first lap because I didn't meet the lap delta. I didn't meet it, so this time around I've actually managed to do it. for me personally, I found it quite hard because obviously I'm a controller user. I don't use a steering wheel. I mean, I've been thinking about it, but yeah, I just prefer using controller. So jumping on to the fuel saving now. As you can see, this is literally the final attempt of this program, and I think for this I only managed to get a good fuel saving. I don't manage to get a purple. As you can just see there, I just about managed to get green. So yeah, end of that practice session, and we're about to meet our engineer for the first time.
Ah, you got my message. Perfect. Welcome to home away from home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end... Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Oh, okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
Right, well, we're McLaren Honda, so we're going to be expecting a few of these part failures. So yeah, obviously introductions, we get 3,000 resource points to start off with, which is quite handy actually, because I know what area I am focusing on straight away. You guys may have already guessed it, being that I'm with McLaren Honda. There's only one thing that I need to focus on at the moment on upgrading, and that is obviously the engine. Obviously going through and seeing our total amount of resource points, 3,172. Obviously, yeah, it's not exactly going to be easy upgrades because from what I've seen, the parts are quite expensive. So yeah, we'll just have to try and do our best and upgrade what we can with what we got. So yeah, as we hopefully now look at the laptop, because this is post commentary when I eventually look at it. There we go. Right, looking at it, obviously there's three main areas: a durability and a competencies. Obviously it looks complicated. It had me confused when I first, I was like, oh god, that's going to be quite complicated. But now I've seen it and I've actually looked at it, I thought, actually hang on, it's not really that bad. Four sections: chassis, powertrain, aerodynamics and durability. Straight over into the powertrain section, we are going to, I think if I remember correctly, upgrade the things down the side. I forget, it's hard saying what it was, so I've completely forgot. And obviously because I've edited this really badly, yeah, the department efficiency we're going to be upgrading a bit, and the quality control section of it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be basically upgrading this episode at some point. I can't exactly remember when. I'm pretty sure I do it now. But yeah, I decided to do that to make them a little bit more efficient and a little bit quicker. And the quality control, obviously, just because I want to make sure they come out and are good when they come out, rather than having to wait for delays, failures and everything. I just want them to come straight from the factory as quick as possible. So yeah, there we go. I bought that. Didn't buy one, I think I actually bought two of them. Okay, hang on. Oh, completely forgot what I've done now. What am I doing? Yeah, there we go. I bought two of them. Did I buy a third? Oh no, I didn't buy a third. This is confusing me now. I completely forgot what I've done. General wear. Why am I on this? Oh, okay. Honestly, it's been a few days since I've actually looked at this, so I'm completely forgotten what I've done. Well, obviously I didn't upgrade too much there, just innocent stuff really. Going on to practice 2, obviously I think now I'm doing the qualifying test program. In the green at the moment, surprisingly, meeting the team's objective of 19th place, I think it is. I can't quite tell, but yeah, come around the final corner. The downforce, it's there. It's just really hard, and we only just beat the team's objective by a tenth and a half. We're going on to the race program now. We do actually, if I remember correctly, we do pass this now because obviously we failed the third lap, so we lost like a consistency kind of bonus thing. But yeah, we've done that, and yeah, that's race strategy complete. Maximum resource points. So I think now, this is it. We go on to the powertrain. We do upgrade. Yep, there we go. First part of the powertrain hopefully developed. So yeah, ignition system obviously done. I'm pretty sure I'll do buy one or more of these just to make sure. No, I think I'll just have a little bit of a look around. But yeah, it's really interesting. This is because the fact you can spend so much for. Oh, there we go. I bought a general wear as well, so that's quite handy. That'll come in handy for wears on the gearbox and just in general, basically, like it said. So yeah, don't quite buy this. I don't have enough for it. But no, yeah, basically it looks complicated, but then when you look at it and you narrow it down, as I'm just going through all this now, you kind of see how it's so simple to understand actually. Like,
To Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily. It's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
Right, so into our first qualifying session then. As I was interrupted last time, I completely forgot what I was going to say on from that. But yeah, going on to our first quali lap, as you can see, we are stuck behind Carlos Sainz, who is going so slow at the moment. I only imagine he's doing the build-up lap, but if he is doing an actual flying lap, he's so slow at the moment for some reason. I'm not expecting anything dramatic in this because, again, it's McLaren Honda. I'm not expecting to get too far up the grid, and even if I were to get there in qualifying, keeping it in the race is going to be a hell of a lot harder. So yeah, finishing off this lap, basically we go last. Later on in the session, start another flying lap to try and improve on P13, but as you can see, Max Verstappen comes out at the worst possible time and actually slows us down a bit, compromises our line, and go by Palmer, I think it was, but then I thought, no, we've lost too much time because of Verstappen, so I abandoned that lap, let them both back through along with Sergio Perez, I think it was, and I went for a third and final go, hopefully able to improve this. But if you look in the rear view mirror, there's another Force India, and as you may have been able to guess, it compromises my line again. Thankfully not as much, but I decided to power on through to see if I can try and gain any time at any point, and I just didn't. It just went horribly wrong, and I'm only doing short qualifying.
You've dropped down to the 9th row.
So yeah, went out that great, and looking at it, obviously Hamilton pole, Vettel second, and we qualified 19th ahead of Kevin Magnussen. So we actually got out-qualified by our teammates and both Salvers, which is not great.
Today's race, of course, not simply the start of a new season, but the start of a new kind of Formula One. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport. Big changes to the technical regulations. The potential, perhaps, to give us the biggest shake-up since 2014. Very different cars visually, and, fingers crossed, much faster as well.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed of these new machines is absolutely unbelievable. How many lap records are still held by Michael Schumacher from 2004? Well, on the right day, on the right tyres, we might just be threatening them this year. Wider tyres, wider cars, more downforce. I have to say they look great, and the qualifying spectacle is undebatable. Now the big question remains, can they follow? Can they race? or have these new rules gone too far?
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Massa, Perez, Grosjean, Raikkonen and Daniel Kvyat. Stroll, Sainz, Nico Hulkenberg and Ocon, Palmer, Alonso, Pascal Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson, and McLaren and Kevin Magnussen rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So guys, here we are.
Open on the run to turn 1 and keep it clean. Come out in one piece. Good luck.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. Here we go, guys, for the Australian Grand Prix. As we can clearly see, as I've said throughout this entire video so far, first race in the game. The engineer suggested a one-stop strategy. When I first saw this, I really had high doubts because I do not like high time management. I do not like it at all. I prefer going low time management. As you can clearly see, I did think about it, and obviously the fuel I definitely questioned because I'm a slow car as it is. Why would I want to put more weight in the car at the start? So I gave myself a lap's worth of spare fuel to use, rather than the suggested 3 laps. And yeah, as you can see, the weather meant to be dry, cloudy throughout the entire race, so that was not really going to help me at all because I needed a bit of rain. Kind of think about the starting strategy a little bit, just to kind of basically see if it'd be better for me to go to a 2-stop. Do I set up for a 2-stop and go to a 1-stop if it don't work? Yeah, I was basically done with all these kind of suggestions. I really didn't know what to do at the time. Obviously, tyres, I still wasn't entirely 100% sure how long these tyres would last, how quick they would degrade, all these kind of factors. You've now really got to focus in F1 2017 a lot more than you would have done in previous F1 games. So yeah, obviously now I do change this to a ultra soft stint in the middle, so it's super soft, ultra soft, with the option of possibly going to softs if it doesn't work. So yeah, I set it to that. Also, fuel's down with 1 lap extra. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into this formation lap. I will admit, the getaway, when it does come, I did have to get back used to using the clutch again, because for some reason reaching and maintaining the optimal RPM wasn't easy for me using the controller. The getaway itself wasn't that bad. I felt like I could get a really good start off if I timed it right and really nailed it to perfection. But obviously, being a McLaren Honda against a Ferrari powered Sauber isn't really going to work very well, is it? Let's be honest. And Magnussen behind me in a Ferrari powered Haas isn't going to help at all either, even though he's on the softs, still ain't going to help. So yeah, forming up this formation lap, finishing up this formation lap, I mean, we kind of got used to the car. The car felt a little bit slippy sometimes, but overall the car itself, for what it is, was good, and I felt like I really could pull a decent-ish result for the team. As now we go to 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go, and we just get the absolute worst start possible. Kevin Magnussen goes down our inside, and we are last before turn 1. What a start. We go down the inside of Wehrlein, Ericsson, doesn't work. Yeah, we're just stuck here. Both Saubers on the ultra softs, which actually surprised me, and I think my teammates as well, which surprised me even more. As we now dive it down the inside of turn 3, I think this is. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I am, I'm a twat. But yeah, down inside, up into P18 ahead of both Saubers, which is where I ideally want to be for most of the season at the moment, is ahead of both the Saubers. We got a good exit through then, and good drive, which actually surprised me, so I thought, you know what, we'll be cheeky, down the inside of Magnussen. Squeeze him out wide, and we made the move stick somehow. I really do not know how that worked out, but it did. So now we're looking at the back of our teammate, who is somehow in 16, but not for much longer. We dived down the inside, but obviously he just had the better racing line. I compromised my line by going over the curbs. So yeah, it didn't really work out. As Magnussen now thinks of a move, as you see by the indicator, he goes around the outside. It doesn't stick. I take the bollard with me as well, cut the corner a little bit for good measure, and Magnussen's a little bit further back. Obviously you can tell this first lap isn't really edited much because me personally, it was just utter sweat mode. Like, all of this lap, I was trying so hard not to lose time, lose positions, just focus on games. We nearly got the back of our teammate there because we got so close. And yeah, coming on to the beginning of lap 2 now, in the lap 1, up into P17, gained 2 positions, 3 positions if you count the fact that I got a really bad start and went to last. But yeah, a teammate locks up, we take use of it and we go straight down the inside. Obviously being the same car as what we got, we should be equally matched, so me being ahead of him wouldn't really matter if it was the other way around. I should be able to stay with him, technically speaking. But jumping on to lap 6 now, a long time since that dive down the inside of Alonso when he locked up. Magnussen is going to be really cheeky, not do what he did when he was at McLaren, and actually try to slide off and move. He's actually in that Haas, granted it's a Haas and I'm a McLaren Honda, thinks about going around the outside. He goes alongside me, but I think by the corner of my eye he did lock up his left front tyre, which basically meant that he didn't make the move stick. So now a lap later, in the same place, the exact same reason and the exact same opportunity, he's going to try it again. Just to really grind my gears and really push this McLaren to its limits. But he just gets me halfway along. He's in front of me before the corner. I stick it down the inside, try and hold the position. Push him wide, he pushes me out wide. I go off, but I still keep position. And yeah, that's basically that. Still in P15 for the time being. Following it round now quite clearly. Magnussen is still there. I went wide and he lost full momentum in that section. And he's still right on my gearbox. I mean, this just says it all for the McLaren Honda. I just can't pull away from anyone. Our teammate pulls into the pits quite early, which surprised me at first when I realised, wait, he was on the ultra soft, so he is going to really pit early technically. As Magnussen looks down our inside again, doesn't make it stick, but I get horrible traction, bit of wheel spin as well, and he's by. Straight into P11, obviously his car's made their pit stops, we moved up, but we will shortly move back down again. Magnussen locks up, I think about it, but obviously being out wide, he pushed me onto the curb and I just didn't get the move done. Simple as now, sayonara Magnussen, never to be seen again for the rest of the episode. I tried to keep with him, but the Honda engine just wouldn't want to know. It's just like, no, I'm in my own class, I'm staying right back here. As now, following lap 9, I think it's following lap, Ricardo makes the same idea and goes down my inside. I just let him through. I just thought, there's no point in me putting up a fight with these cars that are clearly way out in front. So yeah, a little bit later on to that, where Magnussen made his move, Massa does the same thing. It's just torture. I mean, I really felt like doing well with McLaren Honda in seasons to come, but honestly my patience will be tested in this first season too, because I really dislike the fact of being overtaken by every driver on the grid, even Sauber at some point. So yeah, going on to lap 11 now, into lap 10. Esteban Ocon is now behind us. He sizes up and moves, and obviously with that Mercedes power behind him, he just goes by with DRS as well. His teammate comes out the pits at the same time, ironically, and yeah, I just couldn't keep with him. Just didn't make the position stick. Kvyat, he goes down our inside as well. I left him in space. I wasn't sure if he was still there, but then he was still there, so I just left him in space. And yeah, even when he went wide, he still had traction, grip, and power. He just went by like there was, I basically weren't there. So yeah, basically that in the lap 11 malarkey. We're going on to the end of lap 11 now. Actually, there's only one person behind us now at the moment in close proximity, and that's the man himself, the Frenchie, Romain Grosjean. But as we see now, Valtteri Bottas is out of the race. And I was really surprised when this first happened, because obviously I thought it must have been a crash, a mechanical issue like steering or yeah, something like that. But no, coming around this corner, his engine blows. And I was surprised when I saw this, because I thought, well, hang on, that's now stuff Mercedes up, because they're all the way down to 3 engines for the rest of the season. already. So they're going to have fun trying to make that up. Obviously Mercedes, they can probably stretch engines out further than most, but as we can see there, Grosjean was so cheeky in that yellow flag. He managed to dive down the inside and get in front of me before the yellow flag actually hit us. So I couldn't overtake because of the yellow flag, so I just had to hold it where I was. And yeah, he was just so cheeky. The AI are just so crafty and so unpredictable. It is unreal. Just literally dive down the inside, and that was it. I was finished. I couldn't get back by at all. It's now coming on later to that lap, or maybe even lap 12 now. I'm not sure whereabouts in the Grand Prix I am right now. I do decide to make a pit stop because one of the Taurus is behind us. I'm not sure which. And I did actually debate whether to do a 2-stop, but I thought, no, I'll just stick it to the 1-stop like the team actually suggested. Go to the soft tyres and just run it just straight through to the end. Obviously the new pit system, it really caught me out a little bit at first. Like, I had to do a few practice ones a little bit, but once I got used to it, it weren't that bad. Obviously, you may have heard slightly there, I forgot to disengage the pit limiter as I came out of the pits. So yeah, that was fun. And yeah, come out in front of one of the Salvers. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it might be Verline. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that was that. And I think we are down in 17th place now. Yep, ahead of Verline. As yeah, basically you're at their point whatever seconds. Verline is right on my arse. I do not know what to do. He even thinks about dive down. He even taps my gearbox. I didn't know it at first, but then I felt it when I didn't really feel it, but I noticed on the replay cameras that he did actually hit me. And as he tries now going around the outside, in all fairness, he keeps it there and he tries it. And I went wide and he lost momentum, and I thought, well, I was still there. Don't know why I was a bit of a pause, but yeah, anyway. Going down pit straight, our teammate comes out the pits, which really makes this interesting now, because that means my teammate is not far behind me after pitting twice. That is his second stop, and he's right behind me. And I'm pretty certain he's on the super soft tyres. So this is about to get really interesting at the end of this Grand Prix with me and Fernando, because he does get by Verline quite easily to a point, as it's just ridiculous as to how quick Fernando is on these tyres, and I'm like, why did I not go onto them tyres as well? But then saying that, he went ultra softs, probably went ultra softs again, then went super softs, which is similar strategy to what I was going to do, just the other way around, where it was ultra softs, super softs, ultra softs. So we kind of had the same idea, but he's made it work. I didn't have the pace. As now we come around the final corner of the lap. Alonso sizing up a move on Pascal Verline with DRS, and that horrible on Honda engine. He actually makes a move and sticks it down the inside of Pascal Verline, giving him, I think, 18th place, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I was just surprised. Now it makes him 17th, sorry. But yeah, to be honest, my main objective from this point onwards, lap 23 now, was keeping ahead of Alonso. If he got in front of me, it wouldn't really matter because I was still met the team's objective of 17th, so I was happy either way. But I really wanted to beat Alonso because obviously, being start of the career mode, he is my first rival, being my teammate. So I was really hoping to keep in front of him. As we now come around this corner, Alonso thinks about it, brakes late, he actually hits me, loses a bit of his front wing, and yeah, he just keeps on coming. He just keeps on coming, straight after straight, corner after corner, lap after lap. He's just there. I just couldn't shake him. Going on to lap 24 now, as you can see with DRS, we've got the exact same package, by the way, and he's sticking it down my outside, trying to make it stick, but obviously being on the outside, I had the racing line to a point, questionable, but still. And yeah, right now going on to lap 25, he's still there. But we've got Lewis Hamilton now playing a bit of a role in this, as I have to let Hamilton by, which means unfortunately we're only going to lap 28, which was fine by me because I really didn't want to race in this Grand Prix much more. Compromised our line, letting him through. Alonso gets a really good run up. I don't know what you're saying, Jeff, because Alonso's coming behind us. And yeah, Alonso sticks down my inside. And yeah, I go wide, he gets through. I did not realise at the time, Sebastian Vettel was there at the same time. I hit the wall and I just missed Fernando Alonso's rear tyre. Looking back on a replay of it in a minute, I mean I tried to stick with Vettel at first, but looking back at a replay from the beginning of all this, coming around the final corner, obviously Fernando was going to start off and move quite clearly, but lets Hamilton through quite quick and understandable because I left it way too late, went too deep into the corner and it just compromised my line. I went too deep, carrying too much speed. Alonso gets the run on me and yeah, also as we know, he goes down my inside. Nothing I can do about it. I go wide, quite clearly, even more obvious there. And Vettel, I honestly didn't know he was there. I really didn't know, so he went wide. I slammed in the barrier, and I missed Alonso by a hair. I mean, honestly, I don't reckon I could have done that again. If I had to redo that, I'd have probably smacked straight into the back of Alonso then. Because I really did not predict him to do that, let him through there. So it really caught me off guard. But going on to lap 26 now, lap 26 now, going on to lap 27, Alonso's still right behind us. And it's just getting so close between us, he's just so much quicker. But I'm desperately trying to hold out because I really want to beat him in this Grand Prix, being my first race in the Honda, or McLaren Honda. Gets DRS, goes down the inside, powers by somehow. They stick around the outside and manage to hold the position, but he's still technically there, right on my gearbox. I believe he thinks about a move down the inside, but then just rams into the back of me. As you can see there, front wing pieces go everywhere. Looking back briefly, he was missing an end plate, like an entire end plate section of his car. Going on to lap 28 now, which will be our final lap because obviously we've been lapped. Alonso pits. Which means we have definitely secured 16th place. As now, as we see, Lewis Hamilton coming around the final few corners of the race. And quite frankly, for a well-deserved win in the Austrian I said it. I knew I was going to say it at some point. He wins the Australian Grand Prix. And with that, the opening round of the championship. So yeah, Hamilton first, Vettel second by the looks of it. We come round the final few corners a lap down. Obviously the Sauber actually in that last lap managed to catch up quite a bit because he was quite a bit behind us, but he managed to catch up quite a bit. But going back now, come around the final corner of the Australian Grand Prix, we're going to come back and bring 16th place for the McLaren Honda team, which for me was a good result. I really felt like I deserved that to a point. Obviously except for the fact that Alonso hit me up the arse, but yeah, 16th place at this stage, I will take it.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Moving on to the driver of the day.
It was a really tough Grand Prix.
It's got to be Julian Palmer. He was in another
I
league
really
today.
did struggle
Really
for most
impressive
Grand
stuff.
Prix for
And
speed.
here's how
It was
things are
really
shaping
frustrating,
up in
and
the
now I know how
Constructors' Championship.
Honda,
Ferrari
McLaren,
moved to
Honda
the top
feel
of the
in
table.
real life.
After
It's
all
just
this
painful.
drama, you've been
Obviously,
mad not to
driver
join us
standings
for
are
the
going to be
next
exactly
race.
how the
We
grid
hope to see
finished.
you then.
We
Take
will
care.
be in 16th place, and I can quite frankly say ahead of a Mercedes because Bottas didn't finish. So I can say that for at least one race. Most likely in China next race, that will all change. It most likely will change. I will not be 16th. I'll most likely be 17th at least. So yeah, look at the constructors. No surprise, we're 9th. Quite clearly, it's not going to be easy. Sauber aren't going to really score any points. As now we look at our rivalry, Fernando, we do beat him. No, we don't. Alonso beats us. But yeah, again, that was just that. Our reputation across the field went up most with Sauber, but this is now the point where we meet. I forget his name, but the classic cars guy. So yeah,
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral G's, you know. The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. That's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. See you at the track.
Now,
so that was Jonathan, the classic cars guy, basically that's integrated into career mode. In case you guys didn't know, obviously he's now quite late, so you probably do know. I decided to do Pursuit with Fernando Alonso's 2006 Renault, and boy was this such a change. I was a bit confused at first, I must admit, when I saw them drive off first and then me go off after, because I didn't read what was the idea. But it just felt so different. It's been a long time since I've even looked at these cars in a Formula 1 game. And it was just so surprised as to how different they handle compared to what the new ones do. The new one's just so grippy, and these ones just slid about like anything. As now it takes us to lap 2, actually, to even catch up to 4th place. Go around the outside, very bold. And yeah, around here, I really felt like I was at home on this track. It was short, the corners were flowing, and that redesigned profile of that S section just made the track so much more enjoyable in that part. But I really did enjoy it. Carry a lot more speed into it, and it was just really fun. As now we catch up to these two, 3rd and 2nd. 1st place is going to be very tough because he's a little bit further ahead. We're only just catching up to these guys now because we've got to make moves quick. We go around here, a little bit of a lag kind of thing. We go around in 2nd place moment. We try and think about it. We go carry so much speed, we dive it straight up the inside of 1st place, and that's 1st place. That is just 1st place on our first classical cars event. Have we crossed the finish line? Sorted. And I mean, the classic cars, I'll admit, I wasn't really fond of in 2013 when they was first introduced into the game. But I really enjoyed it. As now we go on to the next race weekend because you can't see this next time.
Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
Our first upgrade, general wear. Not the best upgrade, but I do need it because I really want to access all the other parts that make the engine in general wear less. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Smash that like button if you did and you want to see more of this. Yeah, it doesn't really do much, but otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.